The world doesn't always revolve around your main character. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 video game franchises with the best lore.
I'm looking forward to learning about the man behind the legend.
For more gaming videos, check out our new spin-off channel, Mojo Plays, for in-depth reviews, thoughtful video essays, detailed character origins, and insightful commentary. Mojo Plays, games smarter. For this list, we're considering lore as key elements or details of a video game's world or history that make it feel as rich, vibrant, and alive as our own. Regardless of whether or not you, the player, actually interact with these story elements, they are details that make up the general world building. We're only focusing on franchises that originated as video games, so don't expect to see games that started out as films or novels like Star Wars or, unfortunately, The Witcher. Number 10, Deus Ex.
Hello, Adam. I knew you would find the real me eventually.
Dropping players into a dystopian future where corporations influence every aspect of day-to-day life. Can you imagine? Anyway, the environments on display here are scarred with the history of VersaLife's manufactured plague, with scarce cures available only to the rich, subservient elite. Scattered around are books, magazines, and news reports covering everything from small events like earthquakes to bigger, more influential aspects like research into mechanical augmentation, rampant terrorist activity, and even experimentation on babies. No, it's not a very happy story, but everything comes together to create a vibrant world where daily struggles are part of life.
Be careful, Adam. Because everybody lies.
Number 9, StarCraft.
For I am the queen of the Blades.
Delving into the history of its 3 warring alien races and leaving very little unexplored, Blizzard's real-time strategy is set in a world as complex as space itself. Issues like the Xel'Naga's creation of the Protoss and Zerg races, the Terrans' expulsion from Earth and into the Koprulu sector, and the creation and destruction of the Overmind all play an important role in shaping the universe and factions that inhabit it. Whether it's about the primal Zerg or the different Protoss cultures like the Teldarim or the Kalai, the universe is overflowing with stories and conflicts that shape the planets and characters you encounter. Number 8, Fallout.
Our ancestors first discovered the killing power of rock and bone. Blood has been spilled in the name of everything.
The world may have been blown away in the Great War of 2077, but it wasn't always that way. In an alternate timeline where the USSR is still kicking and where China remains deeply communist, the tension and ensuing power struggle between major countries is actually incredibly detailed, with the launching of nukes, the spread of evolutionary viruses that riddle the world with mutants, and sad diary entries of people just struggling to survive in the aftermath. The lore of Fallout is heartbreaking and eerily rooted in society's greatest fear: war, disease, and total destruction.
When we first met, you asked about the Minutemen. One thing you should know about us, we help out our friends.
Number 7, Metal Gear.
The nuclear weapons disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago was attacked and captured by next-generation special forces.
Set against the backdrop of the Cold War and following the split up of the influential philosophers into global superpowers, the billions of dollars the group left behind drives nations to exploit and destroy their own people and even double-cross their agents in a bid for power. Even as their influence falls, the corruption of shadow organizations like the Patriots and the rise of private military companies take up the cycle of struggle, stretching their conflicts throughout the world and undermining any efforts for peace, making this parallel Earth a volatile and dangerous place. Number 6, Halo.
Sleep well?
No thanks to your driving, yes.
So you did miss me.
From the Forerunners and their Halos dealing with the parasitic flood and netting themselves fanatical religious followers, to the High Prophets manipulating the Covenant's beliefs to gain power, the universe surrounding this series is brimming with life thanks to its complexity. The civil war on Earth between the UNSC and the Secessionist Union, the Covenant's own Great Schism, and the genetic manipulation at the root of the Spartan program demonstrate just how hotly contested space was even before the outbreak of interplanetary war.
I need you.
Number 5, Dark Souls.
Where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge.
All good things come to an end, even in Lordran. Especially in Lordran. With the waning of the Age of Fire, power-hungry groups like the Dark Wraiths fed on humanity while the rise of the Hollow Curse kept them from dying. every attempt to rekindle the flame has failed to bring back the glory days, leaving the world as a worn-out, broken place by the time you set foot on your adventure. The actions of people throughout history had lasting impact on the areas you visit, like the Abyss or Blighttown, leaving behind items and small details hidden in the architecture. These serve to connect you to these moments from a bygone era, making them that much creepier and lifelike.
And man sees not light, but only endless nights.
Number 4, The Legend of Zelda. Like a piece in a puzzle, each game in the series is an eternal battle between good and evil over the Triforce, the ancient wish-granting relic imbued with the power of the 3 goddesses. You can defeat evil as often as you want within each installment, but every time you visit, you'll realize that Hyrule itself will always be afflicted by its presence. From the relatively prosperous Skyloft to the Great Sea, the world is consistently filled with songs, stories, races, and landmarks that show off the ravages of time and will have you hunting down the key to placing it within the timeline. Number 3, Mass Effect.
If Shepard can't gain their trust, they're all as good as dead.
Space might be the latest and greatest frontier for humans, but it's old news for races that have a very long history of conflict and shaky alliances, like the Krogan or the Turians. It's thanks to these relationships, along with the mysteries like those surrounding extinct races, that the universe feels like it developed organically. The all-consuming Reapers may be lurking in the background, but crack open some of those codexes and you'll find a lot of history in this universe. Number 2, The Elder Scrolls.
In their tongue, he's Dovahkiin, Dragonborn.
The continent of Tamriel contains within it thousands of years of history, and with each main game in the series taking place centuries apart, you'll get to be fully immersed in its evolution. While you'll experience some of it through the plot of each game, there are hundreds of tomes to collect detailing the histories of everything from the ancient races like the Naids to the Baranzaya and even to Skyrim's Civil War. Whether it's important information or not, here's a world that's almost as deep and fleshed out as our own, with towns, folk songs, and legends aplenty. All of these details paint a picture of the shared political, economic, and military past of the troubled continent. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Number 1, Warcraft. With tens of thousands of years of detailed history and in-game records of everything from Archimonde's War of the Ancients to the Burning Legion's repeated invasions, Azeroth is so richly embedded with lore that towns and even minor NPCs have their own stories and daily lives, helping to connect you with this chaotic world. Cities like Stormwind celebrate their histories with statues of heroes, each with their own full-fledged backstories. The ancient forces you read about and eternal struggles between the Horde and the Alliance are so beyond your control that they'll continue shaping the world long after a new batch of heroes has risen up to replace you.
For when my days have come to an end, you shall be king.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.